D2 Word Life here with Rip always loves to torture my ass tides.
Hey guys, we are watching one of the worst,
But before...
absolutely worst abomination
Hey,
for me.
before we get into what we're reviewing, obviously they can tell what we're reviewing here, what we're going to be talking about. But, you ever watch something that's so incredibly bad that you physically feel like you are losing brain cells from watching it?
Yeah, King of the Ring 95.
Yeah, and that was horrible. And for the longest time, for nearly a year at this point, ever since we did that review for King of the Ring 95, we kept saying that was the worst show we've ever seen. Somehow, when it comes to crappy shows, this one tops it as the undisputed king of crap. And
I found it on YouTube.
Yeah, and the show in question is that we're reviewing today is your pick this week. Thanks a lot, dickhead. This week we are reviewing Heroes of Wrestling, only because I assume you hate me. Either that or you love to fucking torture me with shit. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the review yet of this, talking about what happened on the show, but I can tell you now, from this point forward, any show that you give me that's deemed crap, including WCW 2000, by the way, is not worse than this. It can't be worse than this. This show makes any WCW 2000 pay-per-view look like the greatest show ever by comparison. And let's face it, WCW in the year 2000 was a damn joke. But anyway, the quicker it's like, okay, but as soon as this review is done, I don't have to talk about this show ever again.
Yeah, and what he's talking about is the abomination of Heroes of Wrestling.
Yes. And this unfortunate piece of shit took place on October 10th, 1999 in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi at the Casino Magic venue with an attendance of 2,300 unfortunate fans who had the displeasure of being there. I would have just walked away.
People were so bored of it, they were asking, oh, what are you going to do after this?
I mean, seriously, do you honestly believe that over 2,000 tickets for this event was actually sold? They probably gave like half of them away for free, and I still wouldn't show up. Can you imagine if an event like this took place now and we went to it? I'd freaking tap out after the first match and just leave. I'd be like, no, this looks like a real crap show, based on how that first match went.
Like we're saying.
Like if you were teleported back in time to 1999 after we've seen this event, and someone offered you, I don't know, friggin' $2 million to sit front row at this show, would you do it? I'd take that silence as a hard no. So, yeah.
Oh, 7 going on to 8, because it was just a few weeks before, it was a month before my birthday, so.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously, if we were teleported back in time, and you were paid like a lot of money to attend this show in person in the front row, would you do it? Probably not. Anyway. Yes. No, they would have to pay me to attend a wreck show like this, but the commentators for this event, oh boy, this was a legendary duo. Dutch Mantell, who the WWE fans is known as Zeb Coulter. He was a veteran of the business. But his co-commentator was not. Who the hell thought it was a good idea to put Randy Rosenblum as a dang commentator? Someone who didn't know shit about pro wrestling. Oh, I bet you better get used to hearing the phrase leg kicks, leg kick, leg kick, leg kick all the time. Flying leg kick.
Body slam, suplex.
Yeah, and the ring announcer for this event was Christopher Stanford. I don't care about who those two people were. Right? And I'm just like, okay. Oh. So we see the opening video. We see the opening video package for this event. They were hyping up this event as a great event that's going to be talked about for the rest of history. Well,
not for the right reason.
I'm like, well, they kind of got it half right. This event is talked about to this day, despite this event being almost 27 years old, but for the wrong reasons. Not what they were thinking back then. Am I right? So they were half right with that statement, right? Oh, and then when the show officially started, there's one major takeaway from this. This whole damn show was shot on a potato. I am not joking. It was potato 99 quality throughout the whole show.
So you could say it was shot like the Mike Tyson fight?
Hell, the Mike Tyson fight was better. Quality. Wait a minute. What? No, but seriously, this was like potato 99. Just think of like security cam footage, and they're like, in the police doing an investigation, showing the freaking gang picture of the suspect to the crowd from the camera. Hey, identify this. Sorry, I don't know anyone that looks like a grained out potato. You know, that kind of bad shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after the introductions and the fact that we were like, yeah, someone's going to get the ass kicked tonight, I'm just like, yeah, the fans' brains. Right?
Yeah.
We go to our opening contest, which was the Samoan SWAT team taking on freaking Marty Jannetty and Tommy Rogers. I have no idea who Tommy Rogers was.
The fabulous one.
But we know who Marty Jannetty was. He was the failed member of the Rockers.
It was the Rocker, Marty Jannetty, and the fabulous one, Tommy Rogers.
Taking on the Samoan SWAT team of Tama and the Tonga Kid, then known going by Samu and the Samoan Savage here. Members of the Onawai wrestling family, right?
Yep.
Which their influence in the wrestling biz still felt today with current members on the roster, including one who will main event Night 1 of Mania against Punk this year. Which will be a way better show than this, right? Oh, WrestleMania 42 hasn't even happened at time of recording, and I'm betting that will still be a way better show than this. By a long mile.
Manager? Who's their manager, buddy?
Wasn't it Lou Albano was their manager for this one?
It was Captain Lou Albano.
Yep.
Who would also shortly become commissioner of a dead company.
Oh yeah, and the entrance music of this was so bad that the version we saw when the Samoans came out was no audio whatsoever. Get used to that, because when the freaking Jannetty and his partner came out, apparently they came out with the same entrance music that the Samoans did. So obviously it was pretty much the same damn generic tracks that these guys came out to over and over and over repeatedly. Right, throughout this whole show, right?
No.
So no one cares. So, hey, why am I even going to? I'm taking the piss out of this one. Here's time where we talk about how shit the matches were. All you need to know is, it's like, Jannetty poses, then Samu poses, and then they do a little bit of action. Jannetty hits a fucking arm drag. and a drop kick, which Rosenblum says a leg kick. A flying leg kick. Really? Right.
Also a headbutt.
It's like headbutt. Headbutt. I'm surprised he didn't call a headbutt a chin lock.
Now he's like, why would you use a headbutt on Samoans?
That never works.
They don't feel it.
Yeah, and then freaking Rogers comes in and hits drop kicks on Samu, or what the commentator was flying drop kicks. Right?
They also hit a double bulldog, which the freaking Samoan SWAT team ate.
Yeah, it was a double bulldog, otherwise known as a double body slam. Huh? Right?
No, he got that correct. He said it was a double bulldog. One of the very few moves that the fucker got right.
It's like, I know, but in the end of this freaking abomination of a tag match, freaking Jannetty freaking got caught by Tama and got and got hit with a TKO to freaking earn the freaking Samoan SWAT team the victory here. Your thoughts on this? Your thoughts on this, as if I already didn't know.
It was one of the better matches.
But I bet it was at this time you're like, I regret watching this. Right? Like, who the fuck? Who the hell asked for this? Right?
No, it wasn't at this point.
Yeah. So we get a fucking promo from Greg Valentine in the back talking about how he's gonna beat the hell out of George the Animal Steel and take Sensational Sherry for himself for this next matchup.
It was at this point that I regretted watching it.
So yeah, we go on to our second match of the night, and this is where I'm just like, I started losing my sanity right here. As we had Greg the Hammer Valentine versus George the Animal Steel, and Sensational Sherry was in Steel's corner for this one. And yeah, these two back in their prime could produce good matches. Here, not so much. Both men make their way to the ring, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the match starts, and Jesus Christ. It's like, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, like, I guess you could...
Referee tells George to take off his shirt.
Yeah, which George started to take his shirt off, only to get pummeled in the corner. Blind. With his shirt still over his head.
Yes.
And then Sensational Sherry, not wanting to wait to do a freaking heel turn, because... Oh, shock, heel turn coming from Sensational Sherry, starts choking out freaking George Steele in this match. Oh, yeah, Sensational Sherry turning heel? Yeah, who would have thunk it? She spent most of her career as a damn heel manager. So does that really shock anybody? No, right?
Yeah, also before that, I like the fact that, like, oh, they're more than just manager and employee. They look good together. I'm like...
And you're like, really? Right? That's what you call Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, and then Valentine takes out a freaking foreign object, which, let's face it, was really a wooden spoon covered in tape.
It wasn't George that did it. It was
Valentine that did it.
Well, George and Valentine did, so I don't know if it was George that did it first, because it was very freaking confusing.
Well, Valentine had the weapon first. I remember that, if you even want to call it a weapon. He starts
a rice spoon.
Well, it was a rice spoon or a wooden spoon or whatever it was. It wasn't a real convincing weapon.
It was a rice spoon covered in freaking tape, and freaking Rosenblum's like, oh, it's a weapon. No shit. No, he's like, oh, it's a foreign object. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock.
Exactly. And of course, whatever. whatever. Every time George Steele was down, Sherry chokes him some more. He doesn't even realize it. And then Sherry freaking was like, oh, tries to play it off. Oh, yeah, I'm consoling Steele here. And then the foreign object or the weapon gets used. Whatever, freaking Valentine did a hard job of hiding it in his tights. It fell right out of his tights. George Steele uses it as a weapon. Uses a weapon.
When he put it in the bottom of his tight, it looked like shit.
Yes.
It literally looked like there was a piece of white shit hanging out.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's what it looked like.
And then at one point, Valentine got freaking George Steele down. Why the hell am I even analyzing this? I'm taking the piss out of it. Bottom line is Sherry cracked freaking George Steele in the head with a chair. And that's how Valentine got the 3 count blatantly in front of the referee. There's no DQ whatsoever. And who cares? This match was already going downhill. This match sucked. Afterwards, George Steele got revenge by tossing Sherry out of the ring and then eating a turnbuckle.
Yes.
This match was garbage.
He wanted his lunch.
Goddamn, speaking of lunch.
Don't forget, he took a chunk out of Hammer's bicep.
Oh, yeah, not on that too, but at this point, who cares? Yeah, well, your thoughts on this, that abomination of a match?
Just weird.
Sensational
Sherry trying to be a face and failing.
That's because throughout her whole career, she was never really a face. She was always playing the role of a heel. Some people can be great. Some people can be great faces. Some people can be great heels. And when they try to do the other role, it doesn't work.
Sensational Sherry was not either.
It's like Sensational Sherry's freaking best role in her career when she was alive, God rest her soul, was as a heel character. Not a face character. She wasn't convincing enough, right?
Yeah.
It was fucking bad. And then we go backstage once again where, well, they attempt to freaking goddamn interview Julio Fantastico, but whoever that is, but freaking they were having audio issues where the mic wasn't working at all.
They were having technical issues.
Worse than Jim Ross's technical issues. Am I right?
Yes.
But anyway, we go to our next match, which was Julio Fantastico versus 2 Cold Scorpio. You'd think this match would be promising, right?
Who had the freaking WCW title belt?
Don't ask me why 2 Cold Scorpio came out freaking sporting a replica WCW World Heavyweight title belt. Jesus, right? That was out of every crap, but you know what's funny? Out of every crappy thing that happened on the show, that looked the most normal. I'm not gonna lie, right?
Yeah.
And it's the only time 2 Cold Scorpio ever came out posing as a world champion because he never won a world title in his career. Right?
Yeah. Well, he won tag team titles.
Yeah, but he was never a world champion, not even in WCW. Now, this match...
He was a TV champion.
Yeah, this match started off promising. Of course, then it was slow chain grab because, you know, you can't go into the big sequences right away. I mean, every match starts off somewhat slow grappling sequences and wear down holds. Before we get to the good shit, I mean, that's still normal, but this one ended up being bad, especially when they were fighting each other on the outside. And I think Fantasio got freaking thrown over the barricade, and some young fan got hit in the face on the landing.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. But not even...
They couldn't say he got hit by a flying knee.
Yeah. And then we go into the crowd. They start fighting each other in the crowd, but obviously we couldn't see it because the camera sucks. I think they only had like 1 or 2 cameras. That was it. Right?
Yeah.
And the Potato 99 quality, like I mentioned earlier, didn't really help shit. Right?
Yep.
So they go back in the ring, and after some brawling back in the ring, back and forth, Scorpio goes up to the top rope. Fantasio freaking pushes the ref, and Scorpio just freaking sits down on the top rope, acting like he got his nuts smashed. I'm like, dude, make it convincing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, make it convincing that Fantasio is being a freaking dick to your Two Cold Scorpios, not just you gingerly sitting down on the top rope like you're sitting on it, like you just sat down in a chair or something, right?
No.
But either way, Scorpio freaking got a diving freaking cutter or diving RKO, whatever you want to call the cutter nowadays for a 2 count. Either way, later on near the end, freaking Scorpio goes to the top rope, hits the freaking tumbleweed. He could have pinned him right then and there and salvaged what little score that they had, but no. He had to ruin it by going back up to the top rope again, the opposite side, trying the freaking tumbleweed finisher once again, completely missing. Just like how Jeff Hardy missed that Whisper in the Wind from the top rope on Jinder Mahal at that Crown Jewel show. Or the Greatest Royal Rumble show, whatever. Totally missed, and somehow that ends up getting him the win. And you know what the production team from this Heroes of Wrestling show does? Hey, since Scorpio's finisher looked crap from this angle, let's show a replay from this angle, which clearly shows that he didn't hit nothing.
Yep.
Like, that was Elmer Fudd levels of bad aim. Your thoughts on this?
Crap.
Yeah, it was crap. And if you think this is crap, oh, it's just going to get worse. Right?
Here's cool. Scorpio had way better matches in WWE at this point.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I don't know much about Julio Fantastico here, but I'm pretty sure, even later on in his career, I'm pretty sure he had better matches than this one. And we all know Two Cold Scorpio had way better matches, especially in ECW, compared to this. Right? Felt like most of these legends here were phoning it in. That's what it felt like. Yeah, and then we cut down the ring, and then we go to the ringside of the commentary table where Rosenblum announces that Albino has been named Commissioner of Heroes of Wrestling. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and Albino sold this like he just won the freaking world title at WrestleMania. Right? And he goes, yeah, Heroes Wrestling is going to be great. The future is going to be bright. We're going to show more. We're going to have way more pay-per-view shows than this. And I'm just thinking to myself, thank God that didn't happen. Can you imagine if there was a Heroes of Wrestling 2 that was worse than this? Right?
Yep.
Then you'd be like, hey, buddy, let's review that. No! Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then we go backstage for an interview it was, the guy who was doing the interview, his name was apparently Michael St. John. Who cares? He interviewed King Kong Bundy, who freaking cut a promo on Yokozuna, knowing that was the hype main event for this one. Which, that goes off the rails. We'll talk about that later. Right?
Yeah.
Ah, God, what's more for this shit show? Oh, yes. Oh, God. The next match on this show that we have to talk about is that tag match of Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheiks taking on the Bushwhackers, or the Men from Down Under, or the former Bushwhackers, whatever you want to call them.
They were the Men from Down Under.
Well, I'll still call them the Bushwhackers anyway. I don't care, but we know who they are, right?
Yep.
Hey. I'll let you take the reins on this one, because I don't want to talk about this tag match. So, yeah.
You can do it.
Oh, I know what match you want to talk about. Jesus Christ. Right? Basically, Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov entered the ring with their manager for the night. Apparently, someone named whoever it was, it's like Brins Nuna or whatever. I don't give a fuck. It was apparently this guy was their manager was roommates with freaking goddamn Nikolai Volkov at this point. I don't care. I'm not going to butcher the name. Right? And the fans were chanting USA, USA. You know, the whole typical thing. And yeah, their manager says that Sheik's going to be doing his Iron Club demonstration for a warm-up, only to be immediately cut off by freaking Volkov singing the national, or the Russian national anthem here to a crowd of boos, obviously, to a standing boo-vation. Right? Sheik eventually does this freaking like little club demonstration. No one cares. The only thing that would have made this more interesting is if Sheik freaking pulled out a blow dryer and started blow drying his mustache. Which you were like, okay, that gets this match points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bushwhackers came out. They got a big ovation here. But the majority of this match was boring as hell. It was clotheslines, drop kicks, rest holds, repeat, rinse and repeat. That's pretty much what this was. Right?
Yep.
Oh, we did see some hot tags, right? We did see some hot tags. In the end, freaking there was some double teaming with the Sheik and Volkov, double teaming one of the Bushwhackers. I could give a fuck less if it was Luke or Butch at this point. Who cares? Anyway, Volkov was going for a clothesline. Luke got out of the way. Nikolai ended up clotheslining Sheik at the end of the matchup. And freaking Luke somehow gets the win. The Bushwhackers win this match. No one cares. Your thoughts on this one? That's about as brief as I can be, because I can't go any more detail than that.
Yeah, because freaking Nikolai Volkov freaking hit the Iron Sheik was something which knocked his ass out for 3.
Yep. Of course,
and then they just started to have a fight in the ring.
Yeah, until their manager of Mr. Whoever it is, I don't give a crap, freaking broke them apart, tossed some sense to them, and they embraced after the match, and I'm just like, ugh, this is garbage. Right?
Yep.
Of course, there was a little story going into this. We see freaking backstage, we see Tully Blanchard from earlier in the show exit out of a limo. He was about to get interviewed, only for Stan Lane to attack him. Right? Thus setting up this match. It was Tully Blanchard of the Four Horsemen, or the former Four Horsemen stable, taking on Stan Lane of the freaking Midnight Express, I believe. Right?
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, at least they're trying with a little callback feud with these two, right? So anyway, this match was okay. Both made their entrances. It's like Blanchard chased freaking Lane around the ring. Freaking fans are looking bored as hell. Didn't really give a shit, right? And I bet they were thinking I should have stayed home and watched WWF or WCW at that point, right? At that point, that's probably what most of the fans were thinking, right? Of course, Blanchard goes in the ring post, and then Lane chokes him with an electrical cable. There was no DQ here, so yeah. After some more back and forth action, I mean, neither one had the advantage for very long. They were actually taking this short 7-minute match seriously, right?
Yeah.
And I don't. And the reason I'm not going into a lot of detail because I really don't care about this show. Right?
Yeah.
Back in the ring near the end, Blanchard applies a figure four, but Lane quickly escapes it. And then at one point, freaking Lane ducks a clothesline and lands a back suplex onto Blanchard here. And the referee counts 3, but Blanchard got his shoulder up. And everyone looks confused. Everyone thinks freaking Stan Lane won. Even the commentator Rosenblum said, "Oh, Stan Lane won." Wait, the referee's reversing his decision. He's raising Blanchard's hand. Then it showed the fake out pin, and everyone was confused. And I know a double pin like that with the face kicking out of the last minute is an old school trope, but when the fans aren't really paying attention, that's why they look confused. And the fans weren't paying attention, and neither were the commentators. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, then again, Rosenblum didn't pay attention to anything. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I know I didn't go into detail on this one, but it was a better match of the night. I would not go back and watch it again, but your thoughts on this one?
I guess it was decent for what it was.
Could it have been better? Yeah, but then again, we could say the same thing about every match on this card that you're making us watch. And of course, after the match, Lane attacks Blanchard, but Blanchard quickly freaking powers out and they just both leave the ring. I don't give a fuck. Right?
Yeah.
So we go backstage once again, but freaking the mic keeps cutting in and out, in and out, in and out. A bunch of audio problems, but this time Jim Neidhart was freaking goddamn being interviewed. And so was Bundy here at the same time, but yeah, but
saying that, oh, Jake the Snake's not gonna hit this DDT or get the snake out.
Really like that, but yeah, but then we go to our next match, the cringe match, or should we say cringe match number 1? Depending on how you look at it, actually, or depending on how you look at it. We have Abdullah the Butcher making his debut on these review segments, going up against One Man Gang here.
Or if you guys are familiar with his other gimmick.
Yeah, One Man Gang was known as Akeem, the African Dream at one point. Right? Hey. So yeah, One Man Gang makes his freaking entrance out, and this was after he was in the back also getting interviewed saying he's going to destroy Abdullah the Butcher tonight. Or whatever he said, right?
Yeah.
Abdullah Butcher tries to get in the ring, and Abdullah Butcher was like, what, 400 to 500 pounds? He was a big guy, he was a big, huge guy, right?
Yeah.
But before freaking One Man Gang, or before freaking Abdullah could even get in the ring, freaking One Man Gang just attacked him on the outside, and was pretty much in control for most of the beginning of the matchup. Nailing freaking Abdullah with freaking chairs and a chain and everything else he can get a hold of. But Abdullah freaking eventually fights back. But you know, Abdullah Butcher was busted open due to one of those chair shots. Whatever. And it's whatever, but Abdullah freaking nailed freaking One Man Gang with a fork and scraped his forehead up. Yeah, and then we see the most cringy moment where we see Abdullah Butcher drinking his own blood that was pouring out of his head.
Yeah.
And then he took that fork and started scraping the forehead of freaking One Man Gang with it, which I was like, oh god, this is cringe. And I understand you yelling, we need more violence, but where do you draw the line at too much? I think that's where the line got drawn for me, and I've seen a lot of fucked up crap in the ring, but that takes the cake on cringe moments when it comes to violent shit. Okay, maybe he's not the king, but it's still cringe. Maybe second place. The cringe on violent moments for me is still the John Moxley nail board spot. Right? as we know. But that's a different story completely. Yeah, but after some fighting back and forth, both men were busted up. They both eventually make their way back to the outside, and the whole time they hit each other with weapons. They busted each other up. The referee was like, "Fuck it, 10 quick 10 count. Both of you count it out." Because I even think the referee had enough of this fucking cringe ass bullshit. Right?
Yep.
Your thoughts on this one?
It was something.
Yeah, were you at your TV yelling, "We need more violence"? I bet you weren't. Right?
No.
Oh God. That match was crap. And honestly, if it wasn't for what we're about to talk about later on, which that would have been the crappiest match of the night. But there's another match that tops it, obviously, and you know what I'm talking about. Or another moment that tops it, I should say, when it comes to the shit cringe department. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, we cut to the back where we see a freaking tape a pre-tape of Cowboy Bob Orton, Captain Lou Albano, and Jimmy Snuka playing cards. And apparently Orton was cheating. Had cards. He had a free another card right there under his seat, prompting this match between Cowboy Bob Orton and Jimmy Snuka. And for those of you who don't know, which I'm pretty sure there's only very little of you who don't know, Cowboy Bob Orton is the father of Randy Orton. Right?
Yeah, and what were the kids saying?
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that in this match, which we'll be here in a little bit if I'm being honest here.
It started right when he came out.
Oh, they were chanting Bob Orton sucks. I know that to start off with.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't all that they were saying.
Oh, I know what they were saying. Freaking, it's like, yes, it's like Snuka was quick, trying to get his fast offense in. After a little while of doing that, near the beginning, Orton cuts him off with clotheslines and started going at his slow, methodical pace with arm drags. Or not arm drags, arm locks, arm bars, the wear down spots as we see all the time in these matches. And besides the chant of Orton sucks, which the commentators did point out, the fans were also chanting Bob is a maggot, but replaced the M with an F, and you know exactly what they were really chanting.
He was a maggot.
Yes, pretty much. Right? Yeah, the fans were chanting, were freaking pretty much, calling Bob Orton homophobic slurs, which really made no sense because Bob Orton was not homosexual in any way, shape, or form. They were just cheering that because he was a bad guy heel in this match, which that's bad. I blame the parents for that. Can you imagine you at a wrestling show at like 7 or 8 years old chanting that? You would be buried in the next week.
Yes.
And that's all the fans chanted throughout the whole match, and even through the rest of the match from that point forward. And even the commentator was like, yeah, making fun of someone's sexual orientation is bad. There's your little PSA there, right?
Yeah.
And yes, I know people are going to say 1999 was a different time period. Yeah, it was still unacceptable. It's still unacceptable then, and it shouldn't be acceptable now, obviously. That's all I got to say on that, right? So yeah, either way, near the end of the match, Orton goes for a freaking back body drop, but Snuka freaking counters it with a comeback, and he struck Orton on the shoulder, lands on the shoulder with a shoulder tackle. Freaking Snuka freaking dove off or Orton cut Snuka off the top rope, goes for a superplex, but Snuka holds on and Orton fell down from the top rope. freaking Snuka then freaking dove off the freaking top rope for a crossbody and got the 3 count on a Orton and won the match. Your thoughts on this?
It was an end to a rivalry.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
yeah, and I could go. I mean, this match was okay-ish. I mean, there wasn't particularly anything wrong with the match compared to the other matches on this show, but yeah, I could go without the fans chanting the shit that they did. That's what really drug it down for me, right?
Yep.
And yeah, maybe freaking Bob Orton spent like too much time working over the arm of Jimmy Snuka, but you know, I mean, I like a freaking nice rest hold, wear down rest hold as much as the next wrestling connoisseur, but doing it so damn often for a long period can be too much as well. You gotta switch it up with your holds there, pal, right?
Yeah.
So we cut to the back. And we see a certain someone get interviewed. And who did we see get interviewed in the back?
It was Jake the Snake Roberts. Drunk off his ass.
I think Jake the Snake Roberts' fucking liver was drowning in fucking goddamn Jack. Or whatever the hell he was drinking.
He was 25 sheets to the wind.
Yes. In other words, Jake Roberts was shit-faced throughout this whole show. Right?
Yes.
And what did he say? He goes, hey.
He's like, oh, so you want to gamble? You got 21, I got 22.
And he goes, you want to play blackjack? I got 2 of those too. I'm like, you do realize in blackjack, if you have 22, you automatically lose. This coming from a blackjack player, by the way, in my spare time. Right?
Yes.
And then he was talking about the snake in the bag, and then he goes, hey, Karen, back up here. Let me talk to you. Back up here. I'm like thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, this is bad. Right?
Yep.
And then whatever, Jim Neidhart makes his way out to the ring. Clearly, I think he was pissed off, even to the ring. It's kind of hard to tell, because I think he knew what Jake's state of mind already was. Her physical state already was prior to the match. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jake the Snake Roberts made his entrance. Proceeded to put the fucking snake, or the bag with the snake Damien there in the corner of the ring, and he decided, I'm just going to go right back to the back. Which is uncharacteristic, because we were like, what the hell's going on here? And the commentators tried to chalk it up as like mind games from Jake Roberts. I'm like, huh? Then he comes back out shirtless, by the way. And instead of getting in the ring like he's supposed to start the match, he goes up to some female fans and forces her to touch his chest. That's cringe as fuck. Right?
Yeah.
And that could be considered sexual assault, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
He entered the match, and then he finally entered the ring, and the match began. Puh. And of course, Roberts plays up to the crowd, all drunk as shit. Neidhart circles the ring, all ticked off. Right? He tries to have somewhat of a match with Jake Roberts by locking up, but he was basically telling Roberts what to do, because Roberts didn't know shit. He was gone at this point, mentally.
Yeah.
Right? So the ring veteran Neidhart has to take freaking charge, which, to Neidhart's credit, he is a professional. Obviously, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was one half of the legendary tag team, the Hart Foundation, with Bret Hart, for fuck's sake. You don't earn a good reputation by being a nobody, right?
Yeah.
And there was some attempts at freaking back and forth wrestling, but they were all bad. Right?
Yeah.
And throughout this match, it was kind of hard to focus on what was going on in this match for me personally because they kept showing the bag with the snake, with Jake Roberts and Snake Damien just peeking out, looking like he's going to escape the bag at one point. Right?
Yeah.
And at one point, freaking Jim Neidhart was thrown outside the ring. That's when Jake Roberts noticed his snake was literally hanging out of the bag. Right? His python, I should say. His python snake, his actual, like, reptile, not his junk. Right?
Yeah.
So what does he do? He took the snake out of the bag. Midway through the match. And what did he do next?
Oh, he put it between his legs.
Yeah, go on. And what did he do with the snake?
Let's just say.
You know what? I know we're doing YouTube, but you know what? I'm a freaking straight up say it. It was at this moment he freaking jerked the snake.
No, he was playing the snake. He was playing the skin flute. He was playing the snake head.
In other words, he was emulating masturbation with the fucking snake between his legs. Twice!
Yes.
And it was at this point I freaking paused the fucking show, gave my fucking score for this match, and probably started bitching at you about it. Because this was the moment why you wanted me to watch this stupid show.
He was showing them what he could do.
Hypothetically speaking, the main event after this could have been a 5-star classic tag match. Spoilers, it wasn't. And it still wouldn't have saved the final grade from of the show because of that. Right?
Yeah.
And even Neidhart was like watching this shit from the outside, was thinking to himself, what the fuck is going on here? Right? Yo, you could tell he was pissed. Right?
No, he didn't know what was going on. He's just like,
you could tell he was pissed off too. Right?
Yes.
Because professionalism went right out the window. Right? Yeah, and then after doing that, the next shot we see of Jake, he put the snake all over himself, and he was French kissing it.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, this is bad. Right?
Yeah.
Then King Kong Bundy comes out for whatever reason, approaches Neidhart, and they both enter the ring. And Bundy was even saying, this is fucking bullshit, as he freaking stared angrily towards freaking Roberts here. Which I'm like, I agree. This is bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Bundy tried to come out here to try to salvage the situation, which is unsalvageable at this fucking point. Right?
Yeah.
So I guess he was trying to save the show, which it was already sinking to the bottom of the ocean of the shit pile, so there was no saving it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bundy distracts Roberts, allowing Neidhart to hit Roberts from behind, locking a sleeper. At this point, this match should have just gone to a no contest to show mercy, which eventually it does, but for some reason, Yokozuna comes out, or who they called formerly Yokozuna, right?
Yeah.
Because in the main event, originally it was supposed to be Yokozuna versus Bundy in a singles match, but because of what happened out here, they decided to make this into a tag team match with Jim the Anvil Neidhart and King Kong Bundy taking on Jake Roberts and Yokozuna instead, right?
Yeah.
Which And then there was that one guy who looks a lot like King Kong Bundy, just a mini version standing outside the ring. Apparently, that was a person who organized this whole show, like the owner of the show, or booker of the show, I should say, right?
Yeah.
That guy that was in Bundy and Neidhart's corner, and I guess he was mostly out there trying to redirect traffic, trying to give him a finish and because this was impromptu, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like what freaking Eric Bischoff did when he came out during that Sting and Jeff Hardy debacle. That's what that guy was doing. Right? And the last part of this whole match was just Jake Roberts being double teamed by Bundy and Neidhart, including Bundy and Neidhart both yanking Roberts' boots off because, well, Roberts had him freaking loosened up anyway, didn't even tighten them. Right?
Yeah.
But eventually Roberts did make the freaking tag to Yokozuna. Yokozuna started pummeling freaking Bundy in the corner. Or no, Neidhart in the corner. Bundy came in, splashes freaking dang Roberts anyway, and the referee did a 3 count on Jake Roberts, despite the fact that Bundy was not the legal man, but at that point, who gave a fuck, right? And Neidhart and freaking King Kong Bundy ended up winning this impromptu tag match. And the show abruptly went off air after that, mostly because, if rumors to be true, those in the audience saw Jake Roberts take his fucking pants off, exposing his little garden snake in the ring.
Yes.
On top of the crap he already done on camera. Your thoughts on this whole segment, from the singles match that morphed into a tag match and everything in between, including the snake bit?
Cringe. Extremely cringe.
It was total fucking ass cheese. That's what this was. Right?
Yes.
I never in my life want to watch this shit again. So, I always call this our favorite portion of the show. You all know why? Because I get to voice my opinion on how bad or good these matches are. And you know what? Call me one-sided, but this is exactly what it's going to be. Here's our favorite part of the whole review, like I always say. Our rating system and our final grade. Oh, and trust me, no points for guessing obviously what grade I gave this show. But anyway, the Samoan SWAT team defeating freaking Marty Jannetty and Tommy Rogers in that tag match, I gave that one 1 out of 5. And that's being nice.
Yeah.
What about you?
1.5, that's being nice.
Greg Valentine defeating George Steele, 0 out of 5.
0.5.
2 Gold Scorpio defeating Julio Fantasio, 0 out of 5.
0.5.
The Bushwhackers defeating the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. Hey, surprisingly, 0 out of 5.
1.
Tully Blanchard defeating Stan Lane. Surprisingly, I gave that one 2 out of 5, and it might as well just be the best match of the night. Your thoughts?
2.
2 out of 5, okay. One-man gang taking on Abdullah the Butcher in that match, ending in a double countout. Hey, 0 out of 5 again.
1.
Jimmy Snuka defeating Cowboy Bob Orton, 0 once again. You're like, I gotta think about how shitty. You're like, I gotta think about how shitty this score is. So what's your score on Snuka defeating Orton here?
1.
Jake the Snake Roberts versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart. That kind of ended in a no contest. That had Jake Roberts going freaking all drunk crazy with that snake. -1,000,000. That broke my scale.
1.
And the main event, where we saw Jim the Anvil Neidhart and King Kong Bundy defeating Jake the Snake Roberts and King Kong Bundy 0 out of 5 again. Hey, boy.
1.5.
And my final grade for Heroes of Wrestling is a F-. I don't care if there's no such thing as an F-. In my world, there is, and this show earned it. It was that bad. What's your final grade for this?
Z.
What's that supposed to stand for? You're like, I don't know, it's just bad, right?
Yes.
And you know, my personal take on this show, fuck this show. Fuck this show. This is the absolute worst wrestling show ever. May it burn in fucking hell where it belongs. God. Right?
Yeah.
Hey. So yeah, people aren't lying when they say that this was the absolute worst show ever in the history of wrestling. This show will make you even regret being a wrestling fan to begin with. And I know usually we talk about, hey, what matches would you recommend and go back to watch? My answer to that question is none. You'd be better off watching paint dry.
Yeah, there's no salvaging that.
There's no... Even the Stan Lane and freaking Tully Blanchard match, which I considered was a decent match tonight, isn't even worth going back to watch. And it's considered the best match on this card to me, in my opinion. Other than that, you really don't need to see it anyway. You won't be missing anything. You can just skip this show entirely and save you the fucking brain rot. I mean, hell, there's a lot other better things that you can go watch besides Heroes of Wrestling. King of the Ring 95 being one of them. So now that we reviewed both shows, which show do you think was worse, Heroes of Wrestling or King of the Ring 95?
Heroes of Wrestling.
Yep, by far. All right. So I had a hard time thinking about this. We need a palate cleanser for next week. Not that it really matters, because no crap show can fucking make us... No crap show is worse than this, right? I think you and I both established that, right?
Yeah.
But we need a palate cleanser anyway for next week because of how shitty this show was. So, I know I'm going back to watching classic WrestleManias. This is WrestleMania season. So, and I need to think of a WrestleMania that could actually help us heal from this fucking brain rot this week. And there's only there's one WrestleMania I think that could actually help us with that. Now, it may not be your favorite WrestleMania, but we did watch shows leading up to this one about a month ago. So, next week. So next week here on the review, you and I are going to be reviewing WrestleMania 18.
Yeah.
which that one had the undisputed championship match between The Rock and Hulk. The Rock and Hulk. Or, no, that one had the undisputed title match between Triple H and Chris Jericho. We got that to look forward to. We got The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan in that match, their first encounter, which a lot of people say is their best encounter. Right?
Yeah.
Which we reviewed their No Way Out 2003 encounter, their second one, and if I remember correctly, their first encounter was way better. Right?
Yeah.
We have Kurt Angle versus Kane on that show, Undertaker versus Ric Flair in that no DQ match. That also centered around freaking Undertaker attacking David Flair in the freaking build-up. Right?
Yeah.
Steve Austin versus Scott Hall in which match that wasn't great creatively, but it's still there. At least it was Austin's last Raw at WrestleMania before retiring. I mean, yeah, Austin would have one more match at WrestleMania a year later, but he lost that one to The Rock, but either way. Right?
Yeah.
And then we get to see who wins the feud. Who wins the feud over Shampoo? Edge or Booker T? In that comedy match. So yeah, until then, we will talk to y'all later. Peace.